just says there's water in the port. There's nothing in there. We gotta go. I'll go take a piss, wipe my ass. Let's go in here and go.
Nice to meet you anyway.
So, like I said, it's there's nothing in the USB ports. I already looked in there, but I didn't see anything. So there's no short between ground and power in the USB ports. So it's just the fucking kernel that's doing this. Because like I said, it is fake. The kernel is not supposed to be, is not what it's supposed to be. So you can just have some rogue code in there to trigger that water SDI error and water warning. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with the USB port itself. There's no short in there. I feel dizzy. I still can't hear anything. I still can't fucking hear anything. I can't smell anything. So I feel a little bit dizzy. Kind of lightheaded. My head hurts a little bit. So like I said, we got one way to. I already ran the service calls. It's not going to do anything. Like I said, it's just one of those things. You have to wait it out pretty much. You could try resetting it or maybe go to another version, and even then it might still do it. You can try resetting it, maybe flashing something else, but it might still do that. Show you the warning because it can be in cache, it can be in memory. Cache, or it can be a memory. You don't know. I've already cleared the cache. Ran the commands. Ran as many commands as you can. It can be an app that has cache. The one thing I'm not doing is that I'm not clearing app data. I should be clearing app data for the apps. I'm not doing that. Uninstall, disable, and clear app data, and then force stop. I should be doing all of it. Should be doing all of that at once. Uninstall, disable, force stop. Clear app data, all four, every single shot. Haven't had time, I've been lazy. It's cold. It's you can probably move the S22 actually has a similar USB port to the A52. I could probably move it back and forth. I don't know if it's compatible all the way, but I gotta look and see. Because what I notice is that they switch it. Sometimes the display has a connector on the USB board. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. They switch it back and forth like that. The main rhythm cable is always the same, and the fingerprint sensor is always the same. But the display cable sometimes is on the USB port, sometimes it's not. They switch it up like that sometimes. The USB boards. You might not have all rhythm cables on the USB board. Sometimes it's not on the USB board. Not all of them are on the USB board. Charging the board there. if this issue will persist, I guess the only way to charge it. Switch out the OS, go from 11 to 12, back to 11, go from 13 to 12, back to 13, and go back and forth like this and see what happens. I don't have time to do that. I don't feel like spending the time to do something like that every day. It's a pain in the ass. That doesn't. I'm still being still can't fucking hear anything. I still can't fucking hear anything at all. It's pretty annoying. I can't hear myself talk. Like I said, these fucking debugging apps that they have for debugging, wireless or local USB debugging. You can't copy. There is a certain limit of how much text you can copy. Now I don't know what this limit is. Why the fuck you can't just paste the entire script in there and just run it? But all of them do this. All the fucking debugging apps, USB or wireless, they have a limit on the amount of text that you can put in there, which is obviously not very useful. It's obviously completely stupid to even have a limit, but they do. They all do. I don't know why. And so you still need, if you want to run a lot of script, you need a laptop. You need something else to run in there. So, that's what's annoying about it. It's, besides proving, like I said, the amount of people that you're seeing here proves exactly what I was saying. They're all transgender. You're not going to see a single normal male. I mean, there's no males at all. They definitely got rid of any males. But you're not going to see a single normal individual that's taking part in this charade. It's entirely a transgender clique. Like I said, these people went above and beyond for transgenderism. That's why they talk about it. They promote it. That's why they talk about it. They promote it. That's why they. And keep in mind, if you're normal, there's, you don't see many women. They weren't stupid enough to get rid of all the women. I guess they're going, they're working towards that eventually. But you don't even see any women. Now, these are their own women. Yeah, you don't see any women with these transgender folks. It's very rare. It's very rare to see any actual women with these transgender folks in London. There's none. You understand? Not even their own fucking women. Mixed race, whatever the fucking, whatever women they have. Not even their own women participate in this shit. Understand? It's entirely a transgender clique. And the amount of people that this transgender lunatic Genghis Khan commie fuck brought in here tells you exactly that. It's just a transgender clique and they're targeting any males. I'm surprised so far that they haven't got, they didn't get rid of all the fucking women. I guess they're not that stupid. I guess they're working towards it. They'll get there eventually. But that's what you see in London. That's what you see in New York, LA, etc. It's just a transgender clique. Yeah, not even their own fucking women participate in this shit. You don't see any women in here at all. Understand? And they do have women. Huh? They keep them, they keep them under lock and key somewhere. They weren't stupid enough to get rid of the women, that's for sure. I guess they're working towards it. They'll get there eventually. I'm tired. I gotta put this fucking hoodie off when I go to bed. I can't breathe. head is just not. I can't see, I can't smell anything, I can't fucking hear, I can't fucking. There's nothing in the USB port. It's a lying piece of shit, that's what it is. Yeah, this is now loading Windows. I found it with the battery drained. Had it at 90% last time I used it. Last time I used it, it was at 90%. And I found it completely drained, flat.
But like in a big way, now it's like we haven't got that time to. I think you can vote again and all that. Like time together, and then that's what's hard. You've got that time. Yeah. But it's all against.
So either they pulled the bag out or they turned it on remotely and did this. Broke Windows. It was not loading Windows. Yeah, I don't have time for this shit right now. So there's no error, it's just not loading. Remember, there's no Wi-Fi card in this laptop. Like I said, I found this thing on YouTube. It said something about switching power supplies and how they're able to hack into the power supplies and stuff like that. Okay, Windows Boot Manager went out again. All right. So it said that might be what's happening with the chargers that I have. The chargers that I have maybe are being remotely damaged. And that firmware can be remotely turned off, or the firmware is corrupted or something like that remotely. Because it's a switching power supply, so it says something about them being able to get into switching power supplies wirelessly. Because it's emitting EMF or whatever, low frequency EMF. I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, you know, these new devices, they all do this. All the laptops, fucking TVs, phones, and they even started, like I said, they started soldering RAM to the motherboards. So because they really like to hack in the memory. Yeah, they like to get. You know, they like hacking memory and cache because it's not obvious. Yeah, and it's a privileged cache, and swap are privileged directories or partitions. So in a cache or swap directory or partition, you have all the privileges you need to access memory. And at the same time, they started soldering memory to the motherboards of laptops. Understand? It's all about the framing gig. Hacking, you know, building up some kind of Freemasonic network of hominids based on fucking over white people. You know, building some kind of Freemasonic transgender global network of hominids entirely based on fucking over white people. Electronically. Yeah, this is electronic warfare. You know? So, like I said, that's the reason why they started soldering RAM to the laptops, to the motherboards of laptops. That's supposed to be in phones, right? Because it's a small fucking phone, but they started doing it on laptops as well. So they started doing that, and like I said, swap and cache is that it's going to be a privileged partition or directory on your phone or laptop or computer, and they hack into the memory. That way you don't see it. Yeah, it's harder to catch. It's harder to get to be aware of it if it's in memory. So it's not going to boot. It's been doing this for 15 minutes. Alright, so that's this. So they turned this on remotely, or they pulled out the bag, or who the fuck knows. You know, I thought I fixed it. I blew up the MOSFET to the USB board because I thought it was the USB board with the radio. Yeah, I thought it was the fucking USB board that had a radio on it. I blew up the fucking cap. Yeah, we blew a cap from the motherboard to the USB-C board. I blew the caps. Yeah, I blew the caps by shorting them because I thought that was it. Well, apparently not. They either pulled out the fucking bag or they pulled out the laptop or something. So I just reinstalled Windows. One bootable USB drive is not working, which means they have to go through the bag. Don't know how they got into the bag or when. I mean, obviously when I'm sleeping, even though I have my fucking head on the bag, and so far as I know, there's no way to get into the fucking box or pull the bag out. But they got in it. They ruined the laptop again. It doesn't boot anything. We just installed Windows just now. I have one USB drive that was working that I installed Windows from, and one USB drive that had multiple Windows versions that doesn't work anymore at all. So they have to go through the bag again within the last couple of weeks, 2 weeks, 2 days, 3 days. Don't know. But it's not working. It's not booting. Now, it doesn't say that there's an error this time. This time it doesn't say BCD error. It doesn't say anything. So, I'm gonna have to get a bootable Windows version to try and flash the BIOS again, because it's from the BIOS. Like I said, it stopped booting Windows again. Got Windows PE. I said it's the one that runs from the USB drive. And I was able to get into Windows to install the BIOS again. So this fucking thing, they either pulled it out of the bag. I think they did. I had one USB drive that had multiple Windows versions. Wasn't working. Formatted that drive, put Windows on it, the same Windows PE that I had before, that I used before. when it wasn't booting, when the laptop wasn't booting, and then that wasn't working. I had to download another PE version, which was like 2.8 gigabytes or something, and put that on the USB drive, and that worked, so I could get into Windows to install the BIOS. So I'm thinking they probably pulled the bag out, or they went through the fucking bag, the laptop bag as well. The USB drives weren't working. The fucking laptop wasn't working. The backup USB drive wasn't working earlier yesterday or the day before yesterday. So they probably went through the bag again recently. Don't know when. Probably in the last 3 days. Like I said, the reason why I need the laptop is to not to flash the phones, because I can use the phones to sideload one another. I need the laptop to run the script entirely, because like I said, these fucking debugging apps, wireless or wired, you can only copy so much text. You can't copy a lot of text. You should go to Windows now. Recover. Your PC couldn't start normally. Yeah, I bet. So it's got that BCD error. This is something is not starting. Let's see if it is starting. Is it going to start? There's a Windows version on it that I installed earlier. You can install it, but you can't boot it. So let's see if it starts. I don't think it's going to start. It's probably not going to work. So we got to download Windows again, because they ruined all the ISO images that I had. They went through that USB drive and ruined every single ISO image I had on the drives. So this one is not going to boot. We just installed Windows, so there's no reason why. We just installed the BIOS, so there's no reason why it wouldn't boot. So we probably got to get the ISO image again. And so it gets into Windows. It does go into Windows from without installing Windows. If you try to install Windows, it doesn't work. I'm thinking it's that fucking SSD. Like I said, I've been suspecting that SSD for a while. So you see, it goes into Windows if you only boot it from USB. I don't have drivers and stuff for this, so I can't. The touchpad doesn't work. I can use the keyboard. The keyboard has drivers, but the touchpad is dead. The keyboard works, but the touchpad, there's no touchpad. So it's kind of useless, because I mean I can't really use it without a touchpad. But yeah, it doesn't work to install Windows if you can't install it. So it doesn't install. So this one has an installation version as well. It has a bootable one and it has an installation one. I tried the installation one, it doesn't work at all. So, you know, these Russians are either, I know they can read English, yeah. It's been Windows in English since it was Windows. So was Linux. So was Unix. But these assholes keep making this shit in fucking Russian every fucking time. Yeah, I know you're a proud Russian. It's not necessary. Yeah? Leave it a fucking English. Yeah, but these assholes keep making these fucking bootable USB drives, bootable Windows versions in fucking Russian for no fucking reason other than to annoy you. Yeah, I see the fucking American flag there. Yeah, it's just leave it in fucking English. Yeah, leave it in fucking English so I can see what the fuck is going on. Every fucking bootable USB drive with Windows, bootable Windows version from these assholes is in fucking Russian. It's unbelievable. Let's see if this shit works. This is Windows 11. going in there. I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah, this one isn't good either. There's nothing going on. So I probably just need to download all the fucking ISO images that I had on my fucking USB drives again. Try that. Because this one doesn't work. It's 11. It's an 11 ISO. Make do with what we have. Just gonna have to use the phones for now. Until we figure out what the fuck is going on with this laptop. I just installed the BIOS, so if the BIOS doesn't fix it, I don't know what will. Gotta download the ISO image again and check it out. Gotta download the Windows version again and check it out because maybe they replaced the ISO images or something, which is why it's not booting or something. I don't know if I know. Usually it should work if you flash the BIOS. Should have worked. Like I said, that fucking SSD and that fucking, you know, the SSD that's in the laptop, I don't trust it one bit. It's fucking cold.
¿Has puesto el caminando?
Yeah, interesting things going on with these phones. And this water SPI error we're getting. I noticed they modified the script a little bit. I had system UI in some places to clear the data for it. And yeah, they modified that script yet again. But I mean, the phones are charging, you know, you can still charge it if you catch it early. You know, if you catch it before the fucking phone drains. Usually freezing MTP, clearing app data for MTP, system UI, Android. You can still charge. I'm fucking hungry right now. Let's see if they got some good food for us. See what they got for us. Something nice. Some empty boxes and stuff. Let's go for good bread. Good bread is poison. Yeah, so that laptop will not boot Windows right now. Windows, so gotta just use the phones. Use the phones. At least we can silo from one phone to another, so it's not the end of the world. Even though the silo doesn't fucking do anything to fix any problems. If it gets to be too serious, you can at least, light it up again. It's fucking cold. Very fucking cold. I think it's just the clothes. It feels pretty warm in other areas of my body. I've got a USB drive, a bootable Windows version. But we gotta get something that installs. It doesn't have enough drivers. Apparently they didn't, they forgot to put in a Samsung driver. They forgot to put in, if people are obviously gonna use that shit with their phones. Put in a fucking Samsung driver so people can fucking, put in some USB drivers for phones and stuff. Now people can use it. Apparently they forgot to do that. They forgot to put some USB, some phone drivers in there. Because if you have phone drivers, then I could flash, I could still use Odin on it. But they forgot to do that. I mean, I can probably install them, by running. You gotta install the drivers every fucking time, which is a pain in the ass. I'm not even sure if, you can install ADB on that bootable Windows version. You might be able to. You should be able to. It's an installing RAM. Anyway, go ahead and go to sleep. We'll check it out again tomorrow. I don't have time for it now. Still have to get what the hell out of here. Gonna charge a little bit. It's raining again. Yeah, I gotta think about taking this hoodie off because it's pretty fucking bad. It's pretty bad. For something from Primark, it's definitely severe. Yeah, they got some. Let's get these fucking socks out of here. My back is absolutely killing me. I gotta take this fucking hoodie off and throw it away. Back. Oh, it's really. Today we're gonna get chickpeas and rice. We just got pretty hungry. Didn't eat much yesterday. I got it serious. It's the left side. That's feels like I got shot or something in my back.
Shot?
Even the chest got affected by it. It's pretty severe OUI. For a Primark hoodie, it's pretty severe.
Warum?
you need something that we don't need to be cooking with? Yeah, no, that's good. And of course, don't forget, the hob will be on for the seats on loan. So, you know, the hob will be on loan.
Yeah, it feels like I got shot in my back. That's how it looked pretty bad. Yeah, this hoodie is devastating. I cannot wear it. It's impossible to wear. Absolutely devastating how bad it is. I thought it was a jacket. It's not the jacket, it's the fucking hoodie. It's not the jacket, it's the goddamn hoodie, guys. It's an impressive amount of EMF. This fucking thing must be made out of iron. Steel. It doesn't feel particularly heavy, but it's got to be some kind of iron mix, steel or something, some kind of heavy metal mix in the cotton or the polyester, because it's really bad how much EMF comes out of it sitting in that box. You know, on the left side of my chest, I guess they're aiming for the heart with this EMF shit, but the left side of my chest and the left side of my back feels like I got shot. Shit. Like I said before, 9/11 was a collective decision between the Five Eyes. If you look at the amount of videos on YouTube talking about it being an inside job, it's not that many. Mostly because these transgender lunatics all decided to do 9/11. Just like when they decided to steal the bag. Understand? If you look at the backlash of 9/11 and the amount of people that said it's an inside job, it's really not that many. Understand? Because with 9/11, just like in New York, they had the cooperation of all these transgender lunatics that are related. and the cooperation of the Five Eyes to go ahead and do 9/11 as a false flag. And if you look at the criticism over 9/11, if you look at the amount of people who said it's an inside job, it's not that many. It's not. It's very few. Very few people said it's the Jews. Very few people said it's an inside job. Very few people said anything at all. Understand the backlash from it was not that severe. Considering the Five Eyes, think about it. It wasn't really examined by the Five Eyes as an inside job, was it? Because they cooperated on it. Understand? They cooperated on 9/11, for 9/11. These transgender lunatics that you see on the sidewalks all decided to do 9/11. They decided to steal the bag collectively. Understand? So if you look at 9/11 as a whole, you don't see anything from the Five Eyes saying it's an inside job. You don't see much from the public. Very few people said it. Very few people said, if it's social media, YouTube, or a protest, very few people actually said that it's an inside job. And if you look at the Five Eyes as a whole, they didn't say anything about 9/11 being an inside job. Because they cooperated on it. It was a collective decision. Just like they collectively decided to steal the bag. So, and this is more or less, like I said, the same people who stole the bag. It's the same folks. Understand? It is the Five Eyes, yes. I will maintain that going forward. Like I said before, if you're white, your enemy will remain the Five Eyes. If I'm in charge or if someone else is in charge, doesn't matter who the fuck is in charge. Your enemy will always be and will remain. It will remain. If you are white, it will remain the Five Eyes. It's not the Jews, it's not the Chinese, it's not the Russians, it's not Asia, it's not Africa, it's not South America, it's not the fucking Amerindian Mexicans, it's the Five Eyes. Understand? That will remain your enemy if you are white. No matter what changes, that will remain a constant from here until the end of time. Understand? It's not the Muslims, it's not the Indians, it's not the Chinese, the Russians, the Mexicans, it's the Five Eyes. Understand? If you're white, that is your enemy. That will remain your enemy from here until the end of time, no matter who's in charge. You have to assume that it's your enemy, even if I'm in charge. Even if they tell you, oh, that guy's in charge, you will assume that even if I'm in charge, the Five Eyes will still remain your enemy, your number one enemy, if you're white. Why do I say this? Well, because any other group on the planet, any other peoples on this planet cannot take on the Five Eyes militarily. They cannot take on the Five Eyes politically. They cannot take on the Five Eyes with resources, manpower, military power. Understand? What other people exist on this planet is irrelevant. Understand? They are in here because they are invited to be here. And they are invited by the Five Eyes to be in here. Understand? They have absolutely no power. China, Russia, Mexicans, to come in here by their lonesome. Understand? The Chinese, as many as there is, all 2 billion of them, do not have the physical or the military power to come in here unless they are invited. And they are invited always by the Five Eyes. Understand? Any people on this planet do not have the power to take on the Five Eyes. The Chinese, the Russians, the Mexicans, whatever the fuck they are. They come in here by invite. Understand? That is why your enemy, if you are white, will remain the Five Eyes. It doesn't matter who's in charge. You will assume, if you're white, you will automatically assume, no matter who's in charge, that the Five Eyes is still your enemy. Because that's what it is. Understand? And it's the Five Eyes that did the slavery. It's the Five Eyes that did colonialism just to spread black people around the world. Because the black people didn't have enough. Like I said before, these groups don't have the power to come in here. The Chinese, the Africans, the Indians don't have the power to come in here by themselves. They are invited. Yeah, and the Five Eyes did colonialism and imperialism just to spread some black people around, because there wasn't enough black people in the Five Eyes. So the Five Eyes decided to do colonialism and imperialism just to spread some black folks around from Africa. Invite. Though it was slavery and it was rough, it was still an invite. Yeah, even though they called it slavery and they called it colonialism and imperialism, it was simply done not because there wasn't enough white people to do the labor. It was simply done, just to spread some black people around. Granted, it was rough and it was slavery, and it was not, not something to be proud of. It's the way they did it back then. Back then there was no Back then, there was no liberalism to bring them in. You had no democracy to bring them in, so they can vote. I don't need their vote. You know, back then you didn't have these political tools to bring them in, like liberals and Democrats and centrists and Marxists, and these political tools continued to bring them in after the turn of the millennium. They brought them in by political tools. Democrats, liberals, Greens, centrists, Marxists, Bolsheviks. Understand? So after they did colonialism and imperialism, just to spread some black people around, they started bringing them in with politics. The Bolsheviks brought in the fucking Genghis Khan horde. The liberals and the Democrats brought in the Mexicans in America. The Abraham Lincoln, who was himself some kind of Republican, right? Just like Ronald Reagan, who was also a Republican. He decided to keep the slaves. And lo and behold, they even printed money to go to war to keep the slaves. When they could have printed money to pay the slaves to send them home. And you could have paid the slave owners as well for the slaves, because it's a deal, it's a business deal. You can pay anybody anything, for anything. Yeah, you could have paid the slave owners to send the slaves home, and you could have paid the slaves to go home, and you would have avoided the war. But instead what they did is they printed money, they borrowed money just to go to work to keep the slaves. Let's see if they have anything like that. Watch this little radio right there. Understand, and like I said, it's always from within. It's always the enemy within that you have to worry about. The enemy within is the Five Eyes, and that will remain true from here until the end of time, no matter who's in charge. That will remain true. The enemy within is what you have to worry about if you're white. Well, I gotta go back and get my umbrella because it's starting to rain. I thought it would bring something. Maybe bring some fucking candy or some shit. A loaf of bread or something over here, early on Friday. Apparently not. This is Christmas, I thought they would bring a fucking loaf of bread or something. Maybe some coffee or something. Apparently not. There's nobody down there. There's nobody down there right now. I'll bring some fucking biscuits or something. Apparently not. Not much going on. These homeless folks kind of disappeared. Somebody brought him some gift bags, some small goodie bags. I thought for sure somebody would be over here bringing some coffee or some fucking biscuits or something, anything. Apparently not. Let's go ahead and go ahead. There's a coffee. It's not raining.
make my tax payment.
Let me get my runabout. Might as well just.
Who's involved in it?
Stamina. And then.
Sure, they would at least bring a fucking chocolate or fucking coffee or something. It's Christmas. It's Friday, you know. That's why they're doing Friday. Bring a fucking chocolate. A hot cocoa or something, you know. I muffled my hearing last night, so I can hear a little better. So it's not as bad now. Home.
Walk is the sun. I died for time.
Oh, well. Look like I can get my umbrella. Since there's no hot cocoa today.
That's amazing. Like 6 o'clock in the morning, right?
Started raining again.
Deal, man.
It's even worse. Pouring all of a sudden.
Il n'y a pas de trottoir là.
Okay, stop again.
He's set on him to know.
Probably very, very good.
No, yes.
How's that? But I also did
We have a weather like this. My youngest sister, I went over on, I went to become part like this.
They do that. I got definitely get some shots of that. Got a fucking bag full of canned food and other goodies. It's gonna start raining again, so fucking ridiculous. There's water going into my shoes. This fucking outsole is kind of thin, even though it looks thick.
I'm saying it like that.
Yeah, every 5 minutes it seems. You got the hurricane of all hurricanes. Every 5 minutes it leaves. Fucking 4 minutes has been raining. It's too far in there. I don't even know how the fuck they're getting in here, man. Because everything is so. I mean, you gotta get in from the top because there's no way to get in from anywhere else. I guess. My fucking ass got wet. Everything is itching. Chest itching, my back is itching. It's fucking EMS. Yeah, we're gonna do some fast speed charging. grown simply in a frenzy. Like I said, you see them like this in major cities, LA, New York. They get into this hive mind frenzy. They get into this hive mind frenzy. That's very, very easy to notice. Well, I can imagine what would happen in LA. In LA, you have more people, so not to mention there's no white people to speak of. So I can't imagine what LA would be like. LA would be quite something, yeah? Well, like I said, this hive mind frenzy is the reason you don't have any white people in these major cities. It's there are strictly, it's strictly for the framing gig. Every major city: Paris, Frankfurt, Munich, Copenhagen, London, Barcelona, Madrid, Rome. Strictly framing program business. My shoes are wet. So I'm going to try and download Windows. I'm trying to download it since yesterday. I need to download a clean copy. That way we can find out what the fuck is going on with this BCD error we're getting again.